Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, today's video, actually, I'm kind of getting, I decided I was going to compare the books and the movies of How to Train Your Dragon. So yeah, that's lovely. I have to cover 12 books, 3 movies, and 2 TV shows. So let's dive in. There's my other pen. So, I will basically be covering characters, villains, locations, and dragons. Now when it comes to all those, I'm only covering the bare necessities, the simple characters you need to know, because some characters are only in one book or one movie and they're not really important. Others are just, you don't really need to know about them. Yeah. As for villains, I won't be covering, all the groups, but mostly just the brains behind the operations, I guess. As for locations, there are a lot of locations. I won't be covering, every single place on a certain island, or places that are mentioned but they don't actually go to. And as for the books, I won't be covering every single place on a map. It'll only be the main places that the stories take place in. And for dragons, there are a lot of species. So many, I'm not going to cover them. If you want to see every single species for the book, then I recommend you read the Incomplete Guide to Dragons. Incomplete Book of Dragons has every single species on there. And as for the movies, well, there's the dragons are made just for the first movie, then the ones made for the TV show, that moved into the other TV show, and the second movie and the third movie, and then there's the games where they have completely different new dragons, so I'm just going to be covering, again, the bare necessity to those, as well as the ones that the characters have. Alright, so let's get into it. I don't think I even need to tell you guys the title of the books. I covered that in my first video of this week, which was why you should read the How to Train Your Dragon books. Please check it out. And my movies, well, I mean, if you know the franchise, you know that there's the 3 movies, the 6 short TV shows, so I don't need to cover that. Alright, now on to my characters. So this is a comparison and opinion video, as you can tell. I also did a comparison and opinion video for every single character that's in the book and the movie. So I will be doing those, and I'll also be adding other characters I didn't do that are main characters. So with the books we have the I should probably have moved that down a bit. There we go. The obvious main character, which is Hiccup Remith Haddock III. And this one we do know that he did have his other 2 hiccups. They do mention that. The franchise, they don't really. Sometimes just make a joke about it though. We also have his parents' Stoic. That's probably really bad writing, I apologize. We have his mother. Valhallarama. And then we have his uncle. Baggy Bum the Beer Belly, who's married. I don't know what his wife's name is. Hiccup also has 2 cousins, Snotlout and Snotlout's sister, but she's only mentioned in the family tree, so we don't really include her. Now, Snotlout has a buddy known as Dog's Breath the Dubrain, and Snotlout being the bully in the series. Dog's Breath is kind of one of his goons. That also includes Toughnut Jr., but Toughnut Jr. is only really mentioned in a few books, and he's just not really a character. He's just there to make the group bigger. Hiccup also has 2 threat friends. legs, no name, who, like Hiccup, is built like me, skinny and all that. And then we have his other friend, Kamikaze, who is just a friend, not a love interest like Astrid. She's just a friend. And we also have Kamikaze's mother, Big Booby Bertha, because they are from a different tribe, so she's the chief of the Blood Burglars. Those are pretty much the main characters. There are a few more, but I'm not including them because they are villains. I mean, Snotlout is technically a villain, so is Dog's Breath the Dead Brain. Oh, I forgot Gobber the Belch. Or is it Blood? It's Belch, Gobber the Belch, who is Hiccup's teacher. So these are all the characters. And they are in mostly all the books. Some books they are just mentioned, but other books they are in. There's the main Hiccups in all the books, of course. So Fish Legs, like Kamikaze's not Fish Legs, is Valhalla isn't Snotlout, is mentioned at least in all of them. Bacon was mentioned, both as mentioned. Dog's Breath isn't in all of them. Gobber, I think, is pretty much in all of them. So is Stoic. And now we come to the franchise. We have, of course, again, the main character, Hiccup Horrendous Hag III. Of course, they treat Horrendous as if it's his middle name, and Haddock's his last name. And his last name is still Hiccup Horrendous Hag III. There is still 3 of them, as mentioned by Tough Nut. Oh, I forgot quite a few TV show characters. That's going to be a problem. And then we have, I should probably just have written them all down, whatever. His father, who is again Stoic. We have his mother, who is actually Valka. And, I mean, when I was doing the book, I could have gone into that whole thing between Fish Legs and Hiccup being somewhat related, but I'm not going to get into that. We get into his friends. Actually, I forgot his wife, Astrid. I'm not going to be including Zephyr and Nothing just because they're only in the end of the 3rd film and the one short, so I'm not going to be including them. We have his other friends, Fish Legs, Snotlout, Rough Nut, and Tough Nut. And these are all the characters that are throughout the films. We also have Eret, son of Eret, who is only in 2 movies, but he's still technically a main character in Hiccup's, one of Hiccup's advisors, I guess. You also have Gobber, who is not his teacher, but actually, okay, technically is his teacher. He teaches him a trade. Now we get into the TV show characters. Again, some of them won't be included because they are villains, but we have Spikelout, which is Snotlout's father. We have Heather, who's Hiccup's other friend. Technically brother, but that, yeah, we have Mala, who is another one of Hiccup's friends, and I realized I did an extra L there. We have Rock, who is Mala's second in command. We have Atali, who is another one of Hiccup's friends. Oh, there's a lot. I'm going to stop there just because I'm going to get carried away. Alright, now we come to the villains. The books, we actually don't really have that much. We have Alvin the Treacherous, who is the main villain. We have his mother. I cannot spell this person's name. Excellinger, I think that's how you pronounce that, I don't know, who is actually a villain, but she doesn't come until the 8th book. We have Furious, who is a villain for the last 4. Green Death, also known as the Dragon Merciless, villain in the 1st book. We have Harry Scary Librarian. That is not how you spell that. Whatever. Who is the villain in the 6th book. We also have Mad Guts the Murderous, who is the villain in the 6th book. And his guy that speaks for him, I don't remember what his name is, I couldn't find him. And my favorite villain, Norbert Nutjob. Who is the villain in the 4th and 7th book, along with Mad Guts the Murderous. And Ugg the Ugly Thug, who is the villain in the 8th book. So this one, there actually is not many villains, just because Alvin is the main villain throughout the entire series. Oh, I forgot the Fat Consul. Fat Consul as well, who is the villain in the 3rd book, along with Alvin. And now we come to the villains in the movies. So let's start with the 1st movie. We have Red Death. And then we get to the 1st TV show, Rise/Burg, in which we have Alvin the Treacherous. I was right, Alvin. We also have Dagger the Deranged. I'm including him with the villain just because for the 1st TV show and the first 2 seasons of the 2nd one, he is the villain. We also have Mildew. And Savage. And that's it. Then we come to the Race to the Edge, which we have Vigo, my favorite from How to Train Your Dragon, Riker, Grafnet Thorsten, and I'm going to erase this because I need more room. Oh, let's go up there, I didn't realize that. Grafnet, I have Ingrid written down, but I'm not going to include him just because he's only in that one episode. We have Johan, Krogan, and I think that's it. All the rest is like, Dragon Hunters, Berserkers. I'm not going to really include them just because there's a lot of them and none of them really have names. And then we get to the 2nd film, in which Eric, technically, I could include him, but he's a good guy in the 1st film. So we have Drago Bloodwist. And then we come to the 3rd movie, where we actually get my least favorite villain. I don't really like this guy, I'm sorry. Grimble the Grizzly. So, yeah, the TV shows, there's a lot more villains just because first few seasons of Race, there's only one villain in each movie. TV show, there's multiple, but it changes throughout the seasons. And now we come to the locations. Ooh, there's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. Alright, here we go. In the books we have, so in both the books and the franchise, we have something known as the, if I can spell it, we have the Barbaric Archipelago, which, okay, here it is. Looks a little something like this. Now it does change every single book, but the main parts we have are the Isle of... That's not how you spell Isle. Oh, no, man, it is. No, it's not. Whatever. Of book, which includes the Hooligan Village. We have... What else is on the archipelago? Meathead Island, which includes the public library. That one also includes the island of Berserk, so that's another tribe that works. We have Outcast Lands, Murderous Islands, Hysteria, the Amber Slave Lands, Bog Burglar Tribe, actually Bog Burglar Island, Dragon Nursery, Flashburn's School for sword fighting, Isle of Scullions, which are these dragons that rely only on smell and disable you with the little horn they have on their head. They take out your Achilles tendon. Also have Lava Lout Island, and then we get out of the barbaric archipelago. Oh, well, there's also like the Vista Thugs and the Alley Thugs and the Peacefuls, but there's too many tribes. I'm not going to mention them. And then we have Roman Empire, also known as Fort. We have the Roman Empire, which consists of, you know, Fort Sinister and parts of Asia, parts of Europe. But, yes. And then we get into the land that does not exist, also known as America, which nobody that job sails to. We also have the island of Tomorrow, where Hiccup and Alvin race to become king. Those are the basic locations. There are things like there are oceans and bays and stuff and harbors, but I'm not getting into them because it's a lot. And every book has a different map. And now we come to the locations of the franchise, which we have, again, the Barbaric Archipelago, which I know consists of Burke, Outcast Island, Eel Island. What else do I have on here? Dragon Island, where the Red Death lives. Just Berserker Island now. And a bunch of other places. I'm not really sure. The books I'm more with. But then we also have the Hidden World, where all the dragons live. We have Vanaheim, where dragons go to die. We have Newburgh, which is pretty much where all the Vikings go when Burke burns down. We have Dragon's Edge. We have Velka's Ice Mountain, where she keeps all her dragons. We have Berserker Island. There are some on here I forgot to write down. Breakneck Bog. Dark Deep, where all the Gronkles live. Oops. Eel Island, did I mention that? I did. Eric's Fort, which is also blown to smithereens by the Builder with the Beast. We also have the Defenders of the Wing. I'm not sure what that is, but we also have Wing Maiden Island, which I forgot to write those ones down. Now we come to the big icing on the cake. The dragons. So I will start just by naming all the characters I have here. I'll name all their dragons. Not the villains because I don't know about them, but the characters I mentioned before, I'll name their dragons. If they have any. Because sometimes I'm not sure. So Hiccup. Alright, Hiccup has Toothless. Oh, this is the bad pen. Who is believed to be a common or garden, which is a normal lizard that can fly and breathe fire, I guess. But he convinces his father it's Toothless Terrigen, which is a really rare species. But he actually is a Sea Dragonus Giganticus Maximus because one of the coolest things about them is they start out small, like the size of an iguana, and they grow to the size of my bedroom, a bit bigger, and then they shrink back to the size of an iguana. Along the way, Hiccup actually, in the 5th book, he actually gets a Windwalker. That's his flying dragon, so pretty much this is his hunting dragon, this is his riding dragon. He also has Bonesfang, who is technically just sort of along for the journey. I should get a different pen out, but I don't want to. Alright, and then we get into Fish Legs, who has Horror Cow. That's not how you spell Horror Cow. Who is actually a commoner garden, and that is his hunting dragon. He has a chicken poxer, which is just known as chicken poxer, doesn't have a name. Who is his riding dragon. And in the 10th book, he gets the Deadly Shadow, who is referred to either as its 3 names, which are Ignorance, Patience, and Arrogance, or it's known as the Deadly Shadow. And now we come to Kamikaze, who has a Mood Dragon. Oh yeah, I should get a pen or whatever. Known as Stormfly. And that's her riding dragon, and she has her riding dragon. I don't know. She has a riding dragon, but I don't know what her name is. Although she does have that stealth dragon that was stolen from Medgets the Murderous, but that's technically her mother's. And we come to Snout, who has a monstrous nightmare named Fireworm. Now he does have a riding dragon as well because him and Hiccups were trying dragons. But I don't remember what it is. Some reason I'm just going off the top of my head. I didn't really write them down. Oh, Valhalla. Oh yeah, she has a Silver Phantom, which I guess is the equivalent of a what's that thing called? A razor whip, I guess. I don't really know. Baggy Bum doesn't mention that he has one. If it does, I don't remember. Bertha only mentions the Deadly Shadow. Dog's Breath has a Gronkle. I remember what his name is. Gobber. Oh, Gobber has dragon. It's a riding dragon. Don't remember its name. Stoic has a monster named Hookfang and his other dragons. I don't remember them. So yes, some of these I'm just going off the top of my head. Alright, now we come to the... Oh wait, well actually I should. But the book we also have different species. We have... I covered... Sea Dragons, Giganticus, Bexus, covered Nightmare. Driller Dragons, which pretty much have a little drill on the top of their head. Moon Dragon covered. Windwalker covered. Commoner Garden covered. Deadly Shadow covered. Doomfang. This is a sea dragon. We meet this one in the 4th book. I don't remember. I think it's like a skeleton and shoots scalding water, but I'm not sure. Exterminator, those are pretty much dragons that light themselves on fire and burn everything. That's also a fire dragon then. Sharkworm, a mix between a shark, a piranha, and a dragon. Do not come across it. Groundcool, Deadly Natter, Leviathan. Okay, this thing, it's a big huge sea dragon, shoots out like a bone, like appendage thing above its tongue. Yeah. Alright, now we come to the franchise. So, Hiccup has his Night Fury Toothless, who Toothless meets the Light Fury in the 3rd movie, and that's where Nightlight's come from, but I'm not going to get into that. We have Astrid, who has Stormfly, her Deadly Natter. We have Fishlegs, who has his Grunkle Meat Slug. Roughnut and Toughnut have a hideous Zippleback. I was bluffing on the name from it. Barf and Belch. Stealthnote has Hookfang, a monstrous nightmare. Irrit has Skullcrusher. Falca has Cloudjumper, who is a Stormcutter. Actually, mentioned that Skullcrusher is a Rumblehorn. Stoic actually has 2. In the first TV series, he has Tornado, who is a Thunder Jump, and then then the second TV series, he has Skullcrusher, and the second movie, but then when he dies, Hiccup gives Skullcrusher to Irrit. Gobber has Grump, who is a Hot Purple. Spiteload has a Deadly Natter. I don't think he ever gives that thing a name. Heather has Windshear, which is a Razor Whip. And those are all the dragons from the characters. I mean, I could get into the villains. The only ones really have villain dragons are Drago, Dagger, and Grimmel. Oh, and Kroken, I guess, technically. Dragons I didn't mention are the Bewilderbeast, big, huge Triceratops looking thing. Death Gripper, which Grimmel has. They look like scorpions. Skrill, which is kind of a lightning dragon like Toothless. Buffaloid, my favorite. It's actually a herbivore dragon, one of the only ones I believe. Fireworms, which are these little tiny dragons that light on fire. The Green Death. Now this one actually looks a lot like the Red Death, and there's some stuff behind it, but I don't really know. Hard Purple, which is Grump, Zippleback, Monstrous Nightmare, and Night Terror, which pretty much are little dragons and everything. Like I said, not really getting into much detail. So as for material, it's even, so that's 1 point each, because I like them both. Characters, my comparison opinion, I did like How to Train Your Dragon, the franchises thing of characters, so I'll give it to them. Locations, quantity would go to the books. Description, probably the books. I'll give it to the books. I mean, I like them. Not the movie's locations are bad, but the books are just more. Dragons, that's an obvious tie. So as you can see, it's a tie. As I've stated multiple times, I like them both, and you might like the books more or the movies more. That's okay. So be sure to check out my personal opinion videos, and all the videos this week. And if you want to find everything I got from this, you can head to the How to Train Dragon Wiki. That's going to be for this video. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, comment down below which one you like better, the books or the movies. And stay tuned for next week, which is Heartland Week. I got some stuff on Season 14 coming for you guys. Alright, see you.